The Backrooms. What are the Backrooms? What creatures do they contain? How come my longtime close friend now has giant red eyes and is drinking dissolved human sludge in the closet? If I find mysterious fluids in random containers scattered across the Backrooms, should I drink them? And has no one checked if I'm just really drunk and looking for the bathroom? All this and more on In the Backrooms. The Backrooms are a seemingly infinite dimension with multiple different levels resembling corrupted school and office interiors. Humans often find themselves here by no-clipping through the physical structures and bounds of their own reality. While this sounds bad, it's not nearly as bad as when you start hearing footsteps other than your own, so let's get into it. This is the Stalker. Stalkers target lonely wanderers in the Backrooms. They're masterful at disguising their bodies and voices to look like that of loved ones, friends, or other survivors, similar to the skills of their digital cousin, the Catfisher. The longer you have gone without human contact, the more susceptible you are to a stalker's illusions and manipulations. A stalker's true form is a tall, sinewy, skeletal humanoid with tightly wrapped white leathery skin and two giant red eyes. It has long floppy fingers and toes that end in claws. Its mere presence induces nostalgia and dreams of the person's life before the Backrooms. They like to season the meat of their human victims with betrayal, by acting as a loved one before striking to gain the trust of their prey. They will betray you in whatever manner makes you feel the worst based on what they've learned about you personally during the time that you thought you knew them. While this sounds bad, I know humans who operate the exact same way. They've been reported to work together and coordinate to break down an entire society of survivors. To feed, it uses a massive proboscis which comes out of its face to inject digestive enzymes into the human body. It takes a few days to digest the victim, so it'll hide it in the closet until its internal organs have putrefied into a black sludge, so it can slurp it out of your now juice box of a body. This liquid entity is not water. Well, it's not water. Well, it is not water, but it's more than just not water. It's a sentient, self-aware liquid with an extensive knowledge of the Backrooms. Drinking the not water connects you to the entity's consciousness, as well as connecting you psychically to everyone who has drank the not water. This is both useful and dangerous because it gives you useful information, but it also drives you 100% butt-fucking sane. To demonstrate, we have an ethically sourced human test subject right here. I just peed on this COVID test. I'm definitely pregnant.
I wonder if anyone has ever been murdered with the binging with Radish Branch chef knife.
You shouldn't have the thighs of a pregnant 15-year-old.
I subsist solely on bugs that I scrounge up from the ground.
If you end up drinking it, the entity will communicate with you, but you might not be able to hear it clearly over the shrieking voice of everyone else who drank it. This entity can control your mind, but usually it doesn't bother with anything like that. A good way to fix a not water-afflicted brain is by removing it. This liquid is pee, and it is mine. A less threatening and actually helpful Backrooms liquid is almond water. Almond water is the main source of hydration and survival in the Backrooms. It can be found in bottles, cartons, cans, flowing through some of the pipes into water fountains on certain levels, even those weird squishy toys, you know the ones that have that hole that runs through the middle. What are those called again? A jellyfish snake wiggler. It is literally in the name. That is not just me. I'm not the perverted one. You're the perverted one. You give fleshlights to your children. There's rarely any label or indication that it's almond water, so you gotta figure that out on your own. This liquid can be identified by a vanilla rose smell, which is important because there's other stuff that you can drink that'll just kill you or worse. Go by the rhyme. If it's vanilla and rose, trust your nose. If it's any other smell, prepare yourself for hell. It's reported to taste like a sweet vanilla mint rose water. I don't know why the fuck they call it almond water. Almond water can be used as a curative for many diseases native to the Backrooms. For example, it can prevent human beings from turning into a wretch. Humans can turn into a wretch when they succumb to a lack of food, water, and sleep and become vulnerable to the poorly understood wretch cycle. Wretches are completely insane zombie-like creatures that have inhuman strength and hunt humans in packs using rudimentary handmade weapons. If you don't want to become one of these, drink your goddamn almond water. Moving on to a slightly less moist but much more dangerous topic, this is carpet moss. I mean, you can't see it, but trust me, it's there. It's located on level 0 and looks almost indistinguishable to the damp carpet that covers the floor of the level, except for a thin layer of clear gelatinous adhesive slime on its surface. Carpet moss is an entity that behaves similarly to a carnivorous plant. It remains dormant, seeping moisture from the carpet until a wanderer stumbles onto it. Acting like an extremely sticky glue trap, it usually adheres to the feet of the wanderer first, who is then stuck on the carpet moss. The moss then releases what what are theorized to be psychoactive spores into the air. When inhaled, it causes intense fear and disorientation, usually causing the wanderer to scramble and lose their balance, falling onto the carpet moss, sealing their fate. Strangely, when the victim has the entirety of its body stuck to the surface, the moss will exude another unknown psychoactive to calm the victim, and some survivors who escape this report intense euphoria and even an aphrodisiac state. This can be so powerful that some survivors sprint back onto the moss and attack anyone who tries to take them away. The carpet moss will then release a powerful digestive enzyme that dissolves everything except the bones of the victim. A telltale sign that a room in level 0 has a carpet moss infestation is that there are large scattered collections of mucus-laden bones. Who would have guessed that having a bunch of complete human skeletons on the floor would be considered a red flag? Nah, I'm just kidding, I made the carpet moss up completely, but I had you though, didn't I? If you want us to no-clip back into the backrooms and explore more of what the moist crevices and corners of this dimension has to offer, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe with all notifications enabled so I know you want to see more. Real quick before we go, you may have noticed that I have a few more representations of me as of late. That's due to a little experiment I'm doing to add more different art styles to the channel. I've been commissioning different artists online and in person. Yes, I do actually interact with people to varying degrees of success in person, to make things for a YouTube channel, drawings of me, yeah. So. The newest additions are by Franums on Insta. You also may have seen this by Impcat and this by Supik, and their pages will be in the description of every video. You should go check them out because they're certified cult classics. Here I...
Tricky, 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 tricky,